The 2022 World Cup in Qatar is around the corner. With only a few days left to what is arguably the biggest sporting competition in the world, fans are quickly getting into the mood and frenzy which comes with the World Cup. Participating nations have already named the 26-man squad that will represent them. Final preparations are already being set up in anticipation for the tournament. 5 African countries are among the 32 participating teams this year. They will arrive in Qatar hoping to get better results in this year's showdown. Cameroon, Ghana, Morocco, Senegal and Tunisia will seek to make it past the group stages, unlike in 2018 when all 5 African countries were knocked out in the group stages. With high-flying football stars playing in Europe and Asia, fans are eager to see if African teams can compete well against football powerhouses like France, Argentina and England. Plus, like Sadio Mane, Thomas Partey and Hakim Ziyech have great quality and experience. They are playing for some of the biggest clubs in the world. The big question is this: will they reciprocate this performance in the World Cup? This is the Africa Equity Media World Cup warm-up.
In 2018, no African country made it past the group stage of the World Cup, partly because they were drawn against greater countries. For example, Argentina and Nigeria faced each other in the group stages. But in this year's World Cup, African countries are still drawn with harder countries in the group stages. Maybe Senegal, which has Ecuador and Qatar. Senegal might have a better chance of proceeding past the group stages, but these other African countries have to pull up their socks and play like they want to make it past the group stages. You'll realize that after the scores have been released, most African countries, their players have exposure. Most of them play in bigger leagues in Europe and Asia. So I think they are up to the task and they can compete favorably with these other greater nations. But it will still not be an easy task. African countries are still facing very hard countries in the group stages. And as an African, I'm supporting Senegal. I believe Senegal has the potential to show greater agility in the group stages, and Mane was recently called back into the squad after having an injury scare, and I believe he'll be fit for the competition. That is why I'm really rooting for Senegal. Cameroon, on the other hand, Cameroon is not a weak nation. It's very strong. You can remember during the African Cup of Nations, it went far, and Abubakar was the top scorer, and its attack is very strong. So I think even Cameroon and Senegal still have a very strong team to be able to compete favorably with these other greater nations. Tactical wise, African countries have shown that they can play a high pressing game. So it should not be a challenge when facing countries which maybe press so high like England and France. So tactically, they are still up to the task, and I believe the coaches need to actually formulate their squads in a way that will make them compete well. Morocco and Tunisia, they are also very strong teams. Morocco has very strong people in their squads like this Chelsea winger Ziyech. So they should be able also to compete well. And it has been previously noted that African countries really struggle with set pieces, but if you see into their squads, they have people. They have good set piece takers. Like Morocco has Ziyech, who is very good at delivering good balls into the box. So the African countries, they also have Hakimi, who is also a good deliverer. So they should not struggle with set pieces and maybe crosses and corners. So I think this will be a very different World Cup for African nations, but they still need to show agility. They still need to show that they are in need to win it, and they still need to not show a mediocre performance. That is what I can say. But for African nations, I'm rooting for Senegal and also Cameroon.
I'm Frank. About the upcoming World Cup, in the African teams, I'm seeing Senegal and Morocco going far, because Senegal have a good team technically, Morocco have a good team technically. The World Cup is about experience. Senegal has the experience in Koyate, there's Mane. Morocco has Hakimi, there's Ziyech. So for the African teams, I'm vouching for Morocco and Senegal.
My name is Virginia. I don't know much about football, but World Cup is coming up very soon, and I'm hoping African countries will do good, mostly Senegal.
So far so good. When we compare the squad of Africans to that of the Europeans and South Americans, I can't say we are expecting much, but from the squads that we have already gathered, if our teams manage to reach the round of 16 and possibly the quarterfinals of the World Cup, it will be a good reputation to the continent of Africa. For me, my team is Brazil, but this World Cup I'm supporting Brazil and one man, Lionel Messi, to lift the trophy. In Africa, I think any African country that will be playing, I'll be supporting them. But my main focus, I was looking at Senegal, but since Senegal, their key player Sadio Mane is at risk of injury, which he picked the other day, I don't know if they'll perform to my expectations. But so far so good. I am delighted with the score that they have announced. I think they have whatever it takes to compete, since they have the African champions who have just lifted the African Cup of Nations. The other World Cup, we saw them being eliminated through yellow cards, meaning they have something to prove. And even their coach Cisse said that this World Cup they are going to make a statement. So I think Senegal is the team that will push up the African continent to the world. And to finish, I just think Ghana, they have a chance, but the group that they are at, I don't think it will be very conducive for them to do their thing the way we expect. So that's my take about the World Cup.
You know, the World Cup, the draws don't take, it's not a miracle. You pass here, you pass this group stage, you take a team that has passed through. So there's no miracle, there's no corruption. And I love, we love how we've trained our African countries. You've seen them play in big European clubs, you've seen them play in Asia, you've seen them play in Netherlands, you've seen them play everywhere. So what I want to talk about is, I know Senegal, we might reach the finals as an African country or the semis, but we are rooting for the finals this time. We want Africa to shine this time. We want the best for the African countries this time. So let's see, just in 10 days when the World Cup draws come up, we are the best people. We've taken the list. Obviously the coach is taking out the best players in the field. The tactics I know they're well off, and yeah, we will succeed.